Welcome to another Berry Report podcast. This is the Berry Report podcast for Thursday, August 17th, 2017. As always, I'm BlackBerryBrad from BerryReporter.com. Thank you all for tuning in on the YouTube live feed right now. Also, thank you for tuning in later on YouTube if you're watching this after the show airs live, or if you're listening to your favorite podcast app, whether it's Google Play Music, it's iTunes, it's BB Pod on BlackBerry 10. If you have Pocket Cast, we're up there as well. Just submitted an app to be on Stitcher, so soon we'll be getting the Bear Pro podcast will be available on Stitcher as well, and we're anywhere else you can download the RSS feed as well. So lots to talk about. It's just me this week, so no art from Nerdberry or anything like that. So running it solo again. Still looking for some guest hosts, some folks who come in and help out with the show or come join me live on the air. But nonetheless, we'll get the party started without anybody else. So let's kick things off. Today's kind of been a very busy news day. I was looking at the topic list that I had prepped for today before today started last night, and it was looking to be like a slow news week and very short news week to talk about. So I wasn't really having too many topics to talk about. I figured it was going to be another quick show like last week, but today kind of threw us all off just because a lot of things started coming out, little things here and there. First things first is a lot of app updates took place today. So the BlackBerry Hub, for instance, received another update. I know we received an update for the BlackBerry Hub and the Hub Plus BlackBerry Hub Plus Suite applications. Received a few updates previously, but today we received a BlackBerry Hub update as well for Android. It's available on BlackBerry Android devices, and looks like it's available on normal non-BlackBerry Android devices via the Hub Plus Suite. No big changes in there as far as I can see. Changelog says that there is just bug fixes, which is nice. Could be nice. Could also mean that people were seeing things in the previous version, and that's what prompted the update or quick rollout of a new update. Or it could just been something they've been trying to throw out. So really cool. The BlackBerry Hub is, if you're not using a lot of the features in the BlackBerry Hub, it's kind of hard to notice that some are there. But I was poking around, me and some friends via the one of our BBM groups that I'm part of. Notice that if you can snooze a lot of your emails to a location-based timing. So, for instance, say you get an email from your wife or somebody in your family and whatnot. It's not, and during the middle of the day, so you can't really read the email. You can snooze it and have it set to remind you about the email once you get home. So you can set your location, tell it to, hey, once I get to location X, Y, and Z, go ahead and remind me about that email. So BlackBerry Hub, a lot of cool features. We'll be doing a video on BlackBerry Hub. I've been poking around there, and there's a lot of things in there that people don't know that they can do, and it's really, really interesting to see a lot of this cool things. Something else that got updated today was BBM for Android. So BBM for Android has been updated. Now there was the BBM beta version for Android rolling out to a lot of the beta users. But this doesn't look like it's that beta yet. I haven't got the update yet, so I can't go in and dive in there. But so for the folks who have, though, they're reporting that the BBM version number is lower than the BBM beta version number for Android, which means that it might not be that update yet, or it just could be that the version numbers are out of whack somewhere in BBM land. But there's also a couple things that in the beta version, there's the redesign for the chat bubbles, the static background. Categories got a overhaul in the beta version. There's also, in the beta version, though, there's also the ability to, there's supposed to be availability of free custom BBM pins, and we're not seeing that yet. So that would kind of, that's what kind of is making me think that this isn't yet the beta version that we're seeing the update roll through. Again, I don't have the update yet. I'm guessing they're rolling this out area by area, but yeah. So keep an eye out for that. If you see it, let us know. Hey, what's going on, Romeo, in the chat? And also got Heidi Maida. Yeah, I'm talking about the BlackBerry Hub update for Android, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the location-based notification, I think that might be just based on Nougat, because I haven't seen that option in the Priv yet, or non-BlackBerry Android devices. But yeah, very cool option inside of BlackBerry Hub for the location-based snooze option. So back to the BBM for Android. So in the new update that's now rolling out to users, some of the things that we're seeing are chat redesigns. So new chat bubbles are available to you. You also get availability for static backgrounds in the new BBM for Android update. Other cool things, stickers are now listed by categories. One category is new, the other one is free. So you can easily choose, see which ones you want to go get for free, and see which one you want to go get if you want to pay for some stickers or whatever you want to do. Also, a new update for the group creation. More rich features and events and topics are enabled by default. So really cool to see that update. Keep an eye out for it. Go check out the Google Play Store, the update tabs. Again, this is for Android, so it's not available yet for iOS or BlackBerry 10. But be patient. I'm sure that it'll be available via iOS and maybe BlackBerry 10 eventually. I don't know yet. But moving right along. So another thing that got updated today, a lot of updates for today, random update day. BlackBerry keyboard for Android was also updated. So if you're rocking a BlackBerry Priv, BlackBerry DTEC 50, BlackBerry DTEC 60, or the BlackBerry KEYone, you should have a update for the BlackBerry keyboard. And there again, this update, nothing new in the changelog. There is just mention of bug fixes here. So we don't know yet if there's anything new or updated. I don't believe the last update that we received for all this Hub Plus Suite services that we received in the beginning of the month, I don't think the keyboard was actually included in those updates. So maybe this is just them catching up with the keyboard update for that month. So really cool. The BlackBerry keyboard on both touchscreen and on the KEYone and the Priv. It's a very cool app. I know there's a way to do it. I'm still waiting for BlackBerry though to roll out the official way to use the BlackBerry keyboard on non-BlackBerry Android devices. We know that there's an APK out there. We know it's available, and it should be available via the Hub Plus services, but it hasn't yet hit. And I think BlackBerry is just holding that back because BlackBerry keyboard should only be available on a BlackBerry device, not a non-BlackBerry device. So for those who are using the Hub services on non-BlackBerry Android devices and want that keyboard, keep doing it the way you're doing it if you have it. And if not, your best bet is probably to move over to a BlackBerry Android device to get that keyboard, because it's exclusive to a BlackBerry device. BlackBerry doesn't want people going to a Galaxy phone and getting the BlackBerry keyboard when they could be getting on a BlackBerry device and helping BlackBerry out. So, yeah. So yeah, the BlackBerry keyboard for Android received that update today. Again, for all these updates, just keep checking the Google Play Store. If you go in the Updates tab, you should see those updates roll into your device. If you're not seeing them yet, don't panic. They do roll these things out location by location, do small patches just to make sure that the servers don't get overloaded with requests for updates for that. So the next thing that we have here, another thing that came out today. So if you guys remember back in June, I believe, a guy named a YouTuber named JerryRig's Everything, I think his name is Zach, actually, official name, did a durability test for the BlackBerry KEYone. So during this test, he put the BlackBerry KEYone through a couple different durability tests. So first thing was scratch test. He took it looks like a screwdriver or some sharp object and scratched the display, and it was ranked between 1 and 10, 1 being very poor, 10 being very great, very durable. I believe it scored about a 6 or 7 there, which is pretty average for most of the flagship smartphones that are out there. Galaxy S8 scored that. I believe the OnePlus 5 scored that. Now he also put it through a burn test to see how quickly if the screen would burn, and B, if it could could recover from it and see how quickly it could recover from that burn test. And BlackBerry KEYone did pretty well there. The third test he took through, the BlackBerry KEYone did not fare very well. He took the KEYone and bent it, and the screen actually popped off very easily. So again, that was during the whole screen failure for the BlackBerry KEYone that we were noticing through, noticing from other folks and such. And myself included, I was one of the victims of the BlackBerry KEYone screen failure. So, so he took another chance, and he took the BlackBerry KEYone through another one. He actually went and purchased one right on Amazon, had it shipped to his house, and looks like he took another crack at it with the KEYone to see if they did update what they were supposed to update. Because keep in mind, BlackBerry Mobile did respond pretty quickly to that video and to the notification of users having issues with the screen failing. So JerryRigs took another KEYone, took it after a few months of BlackBerry fixing their issue. He took another chance with it, and this time around the BlackBerry KEYone fared very well. Didn't pop off at all with the bend test. It actually stayed intact. He wasn't able to pull it off as easily as he was in the first one back in June. And he also did a so pretty much what he did next was figure out what they did to fix this. And this is the very interesting part. So if you ever worked on any phones before, whether it's the newer phones or older phones, especially all the newer devices that are using adhesive underneath the glass, the only way to really get those screens to come off is to heat up the screen so the adhesive actually loosens up, and you can then pry the screen out of the housing. With the KEYone, he tried doing this. He couldn't pry it apart. So what he had to do is actually just use brute force and pull that screen off, and he actually damaged the screen while doing so. But he did discover that underneath was a lot of adhesive, some kind of adhesive. It wasn't the normal adhesive that they're using, but there's a lot of dark adhesive attached to that screen, making it very hard for that device to come apart, which is, if from a repair standpoint, if you're repairing this device, it's probably not the easiest thing, because you're more likely to break the screen. But if that screen's already broken and you're repairing it for a reason, it's broken already, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about it. And the other thing with the KEYone, everything is really, when you're taking it apart, all the internals are behind the screen, so you would take off the battery door first to get to a lot of the internals, like the battery, the chips and stuff like that, and the cables and everything. So the only reason to replace that, or take that screen apart, is to replace that screen. And I'm guessing if your screen's being replaced, it's for a reason, because it's either broken or something's not working properly. But so yeah, he had to use brute force to get into that device, and it's great, because the fact that shows that BlackBerry Mobile took the measures that they said they were going to take, and wasn't just a PR cover-up, and they fixed their issue. So that's great. I know there's some people out there are still having this issue with the screen falling off, but there's not as many as there used to be. I think I stated that last week on the podcast. This issue is starting to kind of go away, to the point where there's very little people experiencing this issue, and the ones that are experiencing the issue probably just have there's still some devices that are from the early stages of the rollout for the KEYone. So it's nice to see. Great job for BlackBerry Mobile. Thanks for to JerryRigs, everything for giving the BlackBerry KEYone another go. Now he removed it from his wall of shame. I forget what he called it officially, but yeah, wall of shame. We'll have to try to get JerryRigs on the podcast. I actually had that thought today, to see what he really thinks of the phone, or if he plans on using any more of it. But great job for the BlackBerry KEYone. Just checking over into the chat real quick. So Romeo in the chat says, in BBM channels, they need to streamline how many clicks and steps you have to go through to add a pic to your channel. He says it takes about 10 clicks. Yeah, the BBM channels portion of BlackBerry Messenger definitely needs to be streamlined a little bit. I personally I kind of don't like where the placement is to get into BBM channels, for that matter. I don't necessarily want them to make it a different app. That's an idea, but if you make it a different app, no one really goes to it after that, right? The fact that it's buried into BBM, means that some people actually stumble upon it and go check it out still if they don't know what BBM channels is. But where it is, I kind of don't like that placement. I would kind of wish that the BBM channels was at the bottom of your bar in BBM, but that's just me. Some people do call me crazy, so. But yeah, streamlining BBM channels would be nice. I would have loved to see a kind of overhaul or kind of revamp to BBM channels. Speaking of BBM channels, we are still doing our BBM channels of the week. We're rolling out our first one in a while, our relaunch, I guess, of that segment. Tomorrow should be the day. So Fridays is probably going to be our BBM channels of the week day. So stay tuned to BerryReporter.com for that. If you have a BBM channel that you want to get featured on BerryReporter's BBM channel of the week, go ahead and send an email or to Brad@BerryReporter.com, and we'll be glad to feature you on that segment for BerryReporter.com. Moving right along on the topic list here. So about a couple of weeks ago, or let's say earlier this year, John Chen, BlackBerry CEO John Chen, the BlackBerry CEO John Chen, received an award. It was the Ascend Canada 2017 Executive of the Year. Was actually the official title here. Give me a second. I think it was Canada Leadership Awards. That's what it is, not Executive of the Year. So yeah, he won an award. He was one of 5 selective people to win that award for this year, which is great honor for BlackBerry CEO John Chen. He's a great guy, well deserves it, especially for what he's done with BlackBerry. If you look at where BlackBerry was before John Chen took over, it was falling apart, losing money. Brand was sinking. They were bleeding cash, and if you look at where they are now, their stock prices is up. They're making money. They have cash. They have money in the bank now. They have, a month after month, they have different acquisitions coming aboard, different partnerships. We'll get into one later in the show. But for what John Chen has done with this company, just shows you how well deserved it is of him to get that award. So earlier this month, John Chen took part in the Ascend Canada 2017 Gala, and he just sat down with them and chatted a little bit. He didn't really mention anything BlackBerry-wise. He was just asked a couple of questions about diversity in the workplace, overcoming diversity in the workplace. Also talked about leadership and just the struggles of business and going through business, stuff like that. And nothing really news to report again, but it was definitely a nice couple videos to watch. If you go check out BerryReporter.com, I'll put the link in the show notes after the show officially goes live on YouTube. But I'll put if you go check out the videos, they're really cool videos. Really just great way to see the inside of the mind of John Chen, and see how how he really thinks. As a CEO, as a person, as a business person, they're really great. They're really great videos to watch. Nice little. They're a couple 2-minute videos there, but great insight to John Chen. He has some really good really good tips, I guess, advice, so to say, how to survive in the business world. So yeah, go check it out over on, again, we'll put the link in the video description, or you can just go check out BerryReporter.com and you'll see the article there as well. So early this week, we pretty much started off the week like this. BlackBerry announced the BlackBerry and AppDome. AppDome is a company that helps integration for enterprise applications. And so BlackBerry and AppDome enabled Codeless integration of secure video and messaging into enterprise applications. So pretty much what this means is they've taken the BBM enterprise SDK, and they've taken it and put it in the cloud. And they've taken it and put it in the cloud. So this now makes it easier for developers or enterprise developers to integrate BBM enterprise into their enterprise applications. And it's great. And it just allows them to, it puts the code pretty much in the air, and the enterprises can take full advantage of this, and helps reduce the cost for a lot of companies of and also helps them roll out secure messaging capabilities to the IT infrastructure. So some of the cool things that some of the benefits that this brings them is seamless protection of chats, voice, and videos, secure organizational data and regulatory compliance, extended secure interactions, enterprise-grade encryption to protect messages sent between Android, iPhone, and BlackBerry devices, even if the recipient is a non-BBM enterprise user. So if you send a secure or a protected message, you can send it to somebody who doesn't use BBM Secure on their device, which is very nice, very great. It's amazing what BlackBerry is doing with this BBM Secure enterprise secure SDK. The perception. So another thing, immediate collaboration and increased accountability. Users can begin collaborating with coworkers immediately, searching with first and last name or even job title. So you find people in your workplace very easily to talk to them about it. So by integrating BBM Enterprise SDK with AppDome one-click integration system, the cost and complexity of integrating messaging, voice, and video capabilities into existing applications pretty much is eliminated. So companies don't really have to worry about the cost of doing so, and they can take full advantage at a very low cost rate, which is a win for BlackBerry. It's a win for the enterprise company that's doing so, and it's a win for the IT, because now they get the ability to use something as secure as BBM Enterprise for half the cost that they have with other applications. So really, hats off to BlackBerry. Again, we talked about John Chen and what he's done with this company as far as BlackBerry goes, and taking it from where it was and to where it is now, and it's just night and day. I mean, again, they're not selling phones out of the warehouse. The phone kind of, phone business kind of washed up for them, but kind of didn't, because now they have these license agreements with TCL and BlackBerryBrad and Optimus, and they're those devices are selling still because they have the BlackBerry brand to it. But for what John Chen has done with this company, taking it from where it was back in like 2013 to now, it's hats off. And with things like this, where they're rolling out the BBM Enterprise SDK with AppDome and making it very easy for enterprise users to obtain access to it, it's really great. So also, earlier this week, we saw late last week, because right after the show aired last week, the August security update for BlackBerry Android devices started rolling out. So for the Priv, the BlackBerry KEYone, I believe it's DTEC 60s have seen it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat or the comments, but if you haven't seen it yet, I'm sure it's on its way. But yeah, for the KEYone and the Priv, those devices have both my devices have gotten it. I'm sure I've heard a lot of other people have gotten it as well. And nothing really too big in there besides the BlackBerry launcher also got updated with that August security update. And so now inside the BlackBerry launcher, you now have access to new icon packs. So previously, you just had the BlackBerry icon packs for the standard in the standard BlackBerry launcher. In the new BlackBerry launcher, though, you have the ability to choose between BlackBerry 10 icons or BlackBerry OS icons. So you can, if you're missing those old icon packs from the BlackBerry 10 days to the BlackBerry OS 7 days, you now have access to them in the BlackBerry launcher. Now, it does require the BlackBerry launcher to get updated. I haven't seen it yet on my Priv, and I don't know why, but I've seen it on my KEYone and have access to it, to I don't know whether it's going to come up in it's not going to come up here on the screen brightness is too high. But if you go into, if you hold down the home screen, you'll have an option for icons, and inside there should be the new BBM or the BlackBerry icon packs for BlackBerry 10 and BlackBerry OS. Really cool. I've been trying out BlackBerry 10 one so far. I think next week I'll switch over to BlackBerry OS 7 and see which ones I prefer and just rock those from there on out. They both kind of been making me want to go back to a BlackBerry a BlackBerry 7 device for some reason. Don't know why. I've been rocking my BlackBerry 10 device without me every day, but having access to those BlackBerry OS 7 icon packs kind of makes me want to go back and enjoy the good old days, I guess. Just say. And speaking of the good old days of BlackBerry, so if you guys follow me on Twitter, and if you don't, you can find me at BlackBerryBrad. I'm there. I tweet as much as I can. You'll notice that I kind of made a purchase the other week, kind of an old school purchase, I guess. And I like collecting things. If you guys haven't noticed, there's a bunch of some old video game consoles behind me. If you kind of see the GameCube and the N64, and there's some other ones you can't see them, they're off camera. But I like collecting old video games, old devices. I collect, old phones, old BlackBerry devices to add to my collection. And so I was in a place called the Book Barn in Niantic, Connecticut. It's a really cool place, especially if you love books. My girlfriend loves books, and this place is like, if you took me and brought me into a GameStop or a BlackBerry store with every BlackBerry device on the wall, I'd be in heaven, right? You take her to this Book Barn, she's in heaven. She loves reading. I kind of like reading, not certain things I like to read, but just a lot of days I can't find the time to read. I'm just too busy to read, or it's not the first thing I think of when I'm have some free time. But anyways, so I'm in the Book Barn, and I always go looking for different books. And the way the Book Barn is kind of laid out, they have different buildings. They have a main building. It has most of the subjects that most people are looking for. So history, romance novels, fiction, nonfiction, such. But they also have other buildings that have different categories. So music books, they have tech books, they have video game based books and such like that. So we went up to the tech book. I forget what building is. They're marked off by different buildings, but I went over there, was just browsing through the tech section, and stumbled upon the Blank for Dummies book. So if you remember way back in the day, there used to be a ton of books called insert subject here for dummies. So it would be Mac for dummies, it would be Nintendo for dummies, or it would be Windows for dummies, it would be skateboarding for dummies, or whatever. So as I'm walking through or looking through here, I find BlackBerry Storm for Dummies. If you can see that on the camera there, if you're watching live on YouTube. BlackBerry Storm for Dummies. So it's a pretty much for Dummies book for BlackBerry Storm owners, and it covered the BlackBerry Storm 1 and a BlackBerry Storm 2. Now, I didn't remember if I had this book or not. I knew I had it. I've owned it previously. I just didn't know if I still had it. So I figured, hey, why the heck not? It was, how much was this book? $4. I figured I'd pick it up for $4. Posted on Twitter, because it was actually written by good old Crackberry Kevin. If you can see that, Kevin Michalak over at Crackberry. And so I figured I'd throw it up on Twitter, show it off to him, and see what his reaction was. Also, it was also written by a good friend of mine, Robert Cal. He was the former CEO of SmartGuard. I haven't caught up with him. I just definitely have to go catch up with him. But yeah, it's a really cool book. If you're a previous BlackBerry Storm owner, you're probably not going to learn anything new about the BlackBerry Storm. If you're someone like me, you're not going to really learn anything about it. But if you're someone that was just looking for tips and tricks in your BlackBerry Storm, this is the book for you. I mean, it was definitely something to check out. Definitely something to pick up. It previously retailed for $24.99, so $25 in the US. It was $30 in Canada, and 17 pounds or 18 pounds in the UK. So not too bad. And they had, again, they had different Dummies book. Go to Dummies. I don't know if they still have. Do they still have these books today, or just people just go on the internet and find this stuff out? Yeah, so some of the things it covered were how to tap, touch, press, and finger scroll. Tips for typing on your Storm's 2 keyboard options. How to use their alarm clock features, browser, and bookmarking tips. Insights and ideas. Advice on using Media Manager. How to move your stuff from an older BlackBerry. 10 fun games to find on your BlackBerry Storm. So yeah, so for anybody who's nostalgic, go looking for these books. They're out there. BlackBerry Storm for Dummies. I know Craig Johnson also did My BlackBerry Curve series. He was also another Crackberry podcaster over there. Good friend of, I guess, acquaintance of mine. Not, we don't talk too often, but yeah. So yeah, that's my story of how I found the BlackBerry Storm for Dummies book. Pretty cool, fun experience to just see that book there, and I just had to pick it up. I get it. So yeah, that's the BlackBerry Storm for Dummies book. Definitely went through that the other night with my Storm 1 and Storm 2. I just kind of, browsed around and just saw what was going on and see if there's anything in there that I didn't know already, but didn't really find anything that surprised me or I didn't know of. But yeah, so just going to go through the chat real quick, see if there's any questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to chat away in the chat. If you're listening to us on a podcast app, you can feel free to join us every Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. If you go to BerryReporter, or if you go to youtube.com/BerryReporter, you'll find our YouTube page. You'll be notified every time we go live for one of these videos, or whenever we upload a new video. I've been trying to find time to do it, but work's been very busy, and I've just been trying to find. I have a lot of stuff to review for the BlackBerry KEYone. I still have a lot of the KEYone review to do video, and I also have some pretty cool accessories. Let's see if I can. So yeah, I have some Sadio cases to show off. Is that upside down? Yep, it's upside down. From good friends over at Sadio. Some cool cases are there. Actually, one of these are going to be a giveaway. I can't talk about that yet, but coming soon, a giveaway. Stay tuned for that, for a Sadio case for your BlackBerry KEYone. But yeah, I have a ton of stuff to review. I just haven't found time to fire up the camera and do so. But yeah, stay tuned to that. You can also make sure you check out BerryReporter.com for the latest news and stuff. We have a BBM channel. Speaking of BBM channels, we do have one. Go find it. I do share it out every once in a while. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at BlackBerryBrad. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at BerryReporter. We're available on pretty much every social platform out there at BerryReporter. Excuse me, even Snapchat, we're available. Don't know what we're doing on Snapchat, but we're there. Let's see what we got. Still have so Romeo still has his Storm 2. Can't believe how small it is. And back when it came out, I thought it was a large screen device. Yeah, so it's really funny, and so I have this. Let's see, I can do this. Things. So this is pretty much where I keep all my older BlackBerry devices, and I have a box. If you can see there, that's pretty much where I store them all, just when I'm not using them. But I keep it close by, just to, in case I need something to go against, And one of my favorite devices, and that's the other thing that I've been, we're gonna be bringing back soon. Throwback Thursday devices. We did that a few years ago, and I love the idea of it. So I'm just gonna keep doing it. But if I pick up a device like the BlackBerry Bold 9700, right? The BlackBerry Bold 9700 was one of my favorite BlackBerry devices. Still to this day, one of my favorite devices. But just putting it in my hand and holding it, it was a small device. And even like a Storm, Storm, right? So here's a Storm 2 if you're watching live on YouTube. The Storm 2 was considered a big screen device back then. And if you look at compared to even, a Z30, nowhere compared to a big screen device like the Z30. Even the, where's my Z10? So here's my Z10. It's not even as big as my Z10, and the Z10 was even considered a big screen device. So it's kind of amazing, what we thought of these devices back then. It's kind of amazing that we thought of these devices as big screens are great devices for media consumption. I even put an SD card in here and just try to watch a video real quick. It was just a quick, video, and just wasn't a pleasurable experience. Now, granted, I'm not a very big person on watching things on my phone. I'd rather watch it on a tablet or TV or any of the other than a phone. But if I have to, I definitely will. I'm not against it, but I don't favor it. But watching something on the store too, or even older BlackBerry devices, just feels weird now. And I'm sure it just felt normal back then, but nowadays it just definitely feels a lot weird. Very weird to do. But yeah, it's very, very interesting to go and reminisce back on those older devices. So, but anyways, thank you guys all for tuning in to the Bear Report podcast. This is episode, I think, 63. What is it? Lost track. Yeah, episode 63. We'll be back next week for episode 64. Make sure you check out BerryReporter.com for all the latest news, rumors, reviews, anything BlackBerry related. Also, again, make sure to check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever you can think of at BerryReporter. Until then, BlackBerryBrad out.